Still rocking that Hogwarts background. I love it.
Yeah, gotta come up with some y'all. Yeah, some of y'all backgrounds are lagging, man. Whew. Well, welcome back everybody to the Rental Life Speaker Series. My name is Justin Brown here with my co-host
Leah Paulson.
Today we are here with the amazingly beautiful and talented Francia Raisa. Did I get that right? Did I get my R right that time? Was it better?
If you roll it just a little more, Raisa.
Francia Raisa. Listen, I'm gonna make it work. I'm gonna be a pro by the end of this. She needs no introduction. You know exactly who she is. She's an American actress known for her role as Anna in Grownish. Some of you may know her from her role in Bring It On. Some of you may All or Nothing. Some of you may know her from The Secret Life of American Teenager. She's very talented. She's been doing a lot of things. We're going to talk about it all today. Francia, how are you doing today?
I'm good. Just another day in quarantine. I have my ups and downs, but you know, like anyone, it just gets. My friend surprised me today, so that was nice. So that was a nice uplifting day. He like bike ride. He rode his bike down here and just waved to me outside my house. So that was nice.
Very cool. Very cool. Do you have any funny quarantine stories? Like a lot of people are just going through a lot of different things. You have any funny one of those?
They're funny now, but it's just like one of those moments where it's like, what's next? You know, like I feel like someone's playing Jumanji and all of this stuff is happening. You know, it's like I had a Postmate situation the other day, which was like really aggravating. But now I think about it, I'm like, this is the kind of stuff I get mad about now. Like my Postmates never showed up, and it was just like the worst day of my life.
Right. This like murder bees thing that's coming out. Apparently, the Northeast is supposed to get smacked with like a historical snowstorm in the next week or so.
That's what whoever's playing Jumanji needs to like.
Yeah, it kind of seems like it's really
killer bees. I just started going outside finally and hanging out, and now there's killer bees. Like, what's happening? These hornets.
Right. So after I followed you on social media, because I wasn't following you, but then I started following you. Then I reached out. I see that you're doing these workout videos. I tried the other day, almost got really hurt. Like, talk to us about that journey. Doing this yoga stuff, and you're like kick, punch, and you're like so convincing. I'm like, I'm trying.
Well, don't kill yourself. So it's yoga sculpt. So it is yoga, but with weights. It's more high intensity with cardio, weightlifting, squats. I do a lot of burpees and planks, and I'm mad at myself for them. But I, during hiatus last year from Grownish, a situation happened where I had to pass on a job offer, which is fine. I'm over it now. But, you know, the I was training so much at yoga that teacher training came up, and I was like, well, I mean, it's something to do. And I needed a hobby. I was looking for a hobby outside of the entertainment industry, because one thing with this industry, it's so easy to get lost in it and not do anything else, that by the time you're in a meeting with a producer or you're just hanging out with a friend and they say, what do you love to do for fun? You don't have something. You just don't. It consumes you 24 hours a day. So I really wanted to have, it sounds minor, but I really wanted to have an answer to that question. And so I signed up for teacher training, not thinking I was even going to complete it. And I did, and I ended up gaining a lot of friends and a lot more wisdom and knowledge and emotional relief than I thought. And so I did actually start teaching while I was filming Grownish. So I would go to set Monday through Friday, and Saturday and Sundays I would teach at a studio just because I enjoyed it so much. And so then quarantine happened, and everyone got laid off at the studio, me included. So I was like, well, I'll just teach it online. Like, it's something to do. And it actually holds me accountable, because if I don't teach, I don't work out. Like, I have not worked out today and I didn't teach. So I just started enjoying like coming up with stuff, and I have a reputation of being hard. So now I just try to keep up that reputation of being hard, and I'm mad at myself for it because I get mad during my own routines.
Nice. So if anybody asks me why I didn't work out today, I'm gonna say, well, Francia didn't do it, so I didn't do it. All right, so that's why.
Not really an excuse, because it's on my IGTV, so you can go back to it.
Oh, see, so you're talking about all these, like, you know, you get advanced now with IG. I'm starting to still get used to it. So we're gonna start asking some questions of the students. So let's go ahead and dive right into these. So we got Nico here. Nico, you can go ahead and ask your question.
Okay, so my question is, did you guys start filming for the rest of the season of Grownish before this whole Corona thing happened, or did you not start filming yet?
So we finished filming season 3 around Halloween. So yes, it is done. And then the second half of the season that was airing should come back during the summer, but we were supposed to start filming season 4 this month. So that's not happening, and I don't know when that'll happen. So it didn't affect the rest of the season that will be airing, but it will affect when the next season comes back, because we don't know what that looks like right now.
Okay, all right. We're also streaming on Facebook, so we have a question from Siraju. Siraju says, with your experiences in film and TV, playing a student, do you miss the good old days when you were in schools, and do you have any plans or perspectives on going back?
I do and I don't miss the good old days. Like if I went back to school, I wish I have the knowledge that I do now than when I was a teenager. I actually didn't go to college. I started working my senior year of high school was when I booked Bring It All or Nothing. So I ended up testing out of high school early because you can your senior year, and I got my diploma. And then I just started filming right after that. It was something that I regretted not going to college, because now I'm, noticing that some of my castmates like Yara Shahidi is going to Harvard and filming at the same time, which I still don't understand. But I actually did sign up for a course at Penn State University. So I'm studying Intro to American Law, and I don't know how Yara does that in film because it's so much reading. So I am doing that right now as we speak. I'm on week 6, I think.
Wow, yeah, there you go. Congratulations. That's awesome.
It's a lot of work.
Absolutely. So let's take Sam Morono next. Go ahead and ask your question.
My question is, what was it like working with Shailene Woodley on The Secret Life of the American Teenager?
Oh my gosh, we were such babies. So Shay was, I think, 15 years old, and I was 19 years old when we first started working, and we were all just really excited to be on a show, and we all just had a lot of fun. I mean, Shay, who she is now, who you see on the internet, she's always been that way, like this, Miss hippie fetching for her own water. Back when we were on Secret Life days, I'm like, what do you mean you went to a lake and like fetched her own water and like made it for herself so she could drink it? Was teaching me all of this stuff, and at the time I was like, nah, I like fried chicken, I can't do it, but now we have a great relationship now. We all still keep in touch, but it was fun. I mean, we definitely became family and grew up together.
Awesome. Lexi Ashton also has a question about Secret Life. Go ahead.
I just wanted to know what your favorite episode was of Secret Life.
There's 2 versions of it. So my favorite episode to film had to be probably when I lost the baby, which is probably a hard episode for anyone to watch, but that was just such a challenging time for me as an artist, because at the time I could not cry for the life of me on cue. And so when I received that information that I was going to end up losing the baby, I was like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? So I want to say that was my favorite to film, just because it really pushed me as an artist, and definitely opened up the floodgates to a part of me that I didn't know I could get to. But my favorite part, I guess in general, would probably have to be the baby shower, just because all the girls got to hang out, and I love when all of us get to really hang out. It was a lot of fun.
Nice. Awesome. Wait, I'm curious. What is it like being on the set of Grownish, and how is being Anna in Grownish? Tell me about that.
I don't know how many of you know this, but I'm actually 12 years older than what Anna plays. I'm gonna be 32 in July, and so I'm playing a 20-year-old. And it's interesting.
Not a day over 22.
Thank you.
What's your birthday in July?
July 26th.
Wow, July 1st.
Oh,
I'm
Cancer. Very emotional. Explains a lot. I'm just kidding. I don't know you. But being on Grownish, it's a lot of fun. I learn a lot. So I feel like the old person on there, but then at the same time, Yara and Chloe and Hallie, I'm like, geez, I wish I was like you when I grow up. They're so smart and they're so down to earth, and they know so much about life that I did not know at their age. So it's actually kind of funny sometimes when they introduce certain slang to me, and I'm like, what does that mean? They introduced me to what a finsta is. Never heard of it before. So in that sense, it's funny. Sometimes, because I'm like, I am so old. What am I doing here? But then it's fun. I didn't get to experience college, and so I get to experience it on television. And it's some of the subjects that we touch on, I'm like, is this real? Wow, times have definitely changed. So it's fun being the older one, but at the same time, I'm learning along with everyone else.
Yeah, absolutely. Justin and I both work like in residence halls with college students. So I feel like they keep me young with all the slang and all the all that kind of stuff.
I learned so much.
They're
Ever
keeping me
changing.
old. They're giving
Keep
me
up with
gray
music,
hair.
they Ciara.
Right.
Well, being like, working in residence life is like being in a nature documentary. You get to see your residents like eating habits, their living habits. Unfortunately, sometimes you see their mating habits. Like it's all just like surreal being on a campus and like learning where they are in their development. I mean, they're teaching us a lot of stuff.
Wow. That's actually good information you just fed me. I never thought about it that way. Good to know.
It is super interesting. So let's go to Amelia next. Amelia Schuster, go ahead and ask your question.
I was just gonna ask, what was your favorite part about like Secret Life of the American Teenager, like in general?
In general, it's probably my cast. We all got along so well, and we still do. I miss them a lot, and I'm so happy to see everyone else and how they flourished in their careers. It was all of our first TV shows. Like being a series regular on a show is very hard. A little entertainment education. I don't know if some of you know this, but every January there's something called pilot season. So that's when all the new pilots come out, and you are auditioning every day, sometimes 6 times a day, to see if you're right for any TV show to become a series regular. Not only do you audition, but then you have to go through a callback, and then you have to go through another callback, and then another one, and then you have to test in front of a studio. And the messed up part about it is, before the last audition in front of everyone, the studio, the network, and everyone, you have to sign a contract. So basically your agents and your lawyers negotiate how much money you will be making and how many years you might be possibly filming. But not only are you signing the contract, so is someone else that is auditioning for the same role. But you don't, and you're not allowed to go into the room to audition until you sign that contract. So it's still like a boat of whether you're gonna get it or not. So the fact that all of us, it was our first time, any of us, I think, except one person, any of us were a series regular. It was just like, it was definitely a fun experience, and we tried to make the best of it. So it was great.
That's so cool. Thank you. So Joyce Romero, go ahead and ask your question.
Hi, Francia. My name is Joyce. I just wanted, hi. I just wanted to know what it's like being from Hispanic descent in the acting industry. What are some struggles, and like, is there anything that has helped you throughout?
Fortunately, I grew up with my dad in the entertainment industry. So I had a sense of hope in my home, where I knew, being a Latina, that I could possibly do this in the entertainment industry. And then obviously when J-Lo first did Selena, and watching Constance Marie on the George Lopez show, I was like, okay, so there's content out there where I can possibly do it. But it wasn't easy. It was definitely very hard. And, it's getting better, but it's not great still. I mean, if there's one Hispanic person on a show, there's not really a chance for another one unless someone gets to play like a parent or something like that. So it's definitely a struggle, just because there are so many of us that are auditioning and you see them. So originally we were all very catty, like not that we were not friends, but we would hope the other person did get the part, because the roles were so few. But because there's been such a calling for us lately, it's gotten a lot better. And we all have noticed that the Black community is so united. And so we all started coming together. I don't know if you've seen this, but we started something called Fiercely Latina. And all of us actresses started coming together and saying, hey, we need to start holding hands. We need to start supporting each other. We need to start telling each other about job opportunities, and we need to start making our own jobs. And I remember Eva Longoria looked me in the eye and she said, you can do it. You can direct and you can produce if you want to do it. And so it's gotten better since we all started kind of supporting each other. We have a thread on Twitter, we have an email thread. And so it's gotten a lot easier for opportunities out there for us, because they're being created, one, by our peers, but also two, because we are pushing each other to go for it. Like I will call a friend and say, hey, I just auditioned for this, but I think you're better for it. So it's transitioning, but it's still not great yet.
Wow, that's really good. Yeah, I saw that. I believe her name's Jessica Garcia. She went to like a convention, like a Latina convention with like, what is her name? The girl that plays Jane the Virgin.
Gina.
Yeah, Gina. She ended up going to that convention as well for a lot of Hispanics. I'm actually Ecuadorian.
Okay.
So yeah, I just kind of wanted to see a little bit about your experience.
Oh, nice. Half Hondureña.
Oh,
So
cool.
close.
So for people who are just watching, Francia, how can they follow you on Instagram, like, or follow you on any of your social media handles?
So you just type in my name, Francia Raisa. I'm sure the spelling will be somewhere. Yeah, my thing says Almendars. I don't know why. That's my government last name. Let me change that. You guys can
I just assumed, I mean, with all the Francias that we invited, I just knew that that one was you.
So if you just type in Francia Raisa on Twitter, Instagram, I just recently joined TikTok and Facebook. I am there. TikTok, I am not great at posting, but the posts that I do are worth it.
Yeah.
I've been seeing those dances on TikTok. You're killing it.
My body hurts. I'll tell you that though. My body's like,
the workouts and the dancing.
Yeah, my body's like, you're not 16 anymore. What are you doing? It's great. You can get it back in shape.
Yeah. So we have another question from the Facebook stream. Do you have any dream roles or experiences you strive for or that you aspire for?
Oh my gosh, yes. I have so many. I feel like I haven't even touched where I want to go and where I want to be. I definitely, because I do have I am a martial artist. I have a black belt, so I have that experience. I really want to do an action film, and I have my eye on a couple dream roles that are on my dream board and stuff like that. But all in all, I really entered this industry because I love stories that give a message. The movie 13, when I was younger, made a huge impact on me. If you guys haven't seen it, it's a great movie with Ed and Rachel Wood. So I really wanted to, do projects that deliver positive messages, like Secret Life of the American Teenager, and now Grownish. And so I eventually want to move into film that does the same thing. But obviously I love my romantic comedies and action films, so those are dreams. But if I could keep going in the lane that I've been, I'll be happy.
Very cool.
Awesome. I think, Tasia, was your question kind of similar to the one that Justin just asked, or is it a little bit different? You can go ahead and ask, or
it was similar. I was asking if I was asking if you were going to break into Hollywood, or you thinking about breaking into Hollywood soon. Are you auditioning? Like, are you like you kind of said it with like the romantic comedy and stuff?
Yeah. So you mean like film? Yes, I definitely want to break into that. It's not easy, It's so funny, this industry. So when you're on a TV show, you film so much throughout the year that you can't film other projects. So sometimes movies are filming when you're filming a TV show, or sometimes they overlap. And then when you're filming movies, most of the time, it's hard to be a series regular on a show because it takes so much time. So it's just, when I have that window of a hiatus break, that's when I'm like, okay, is there a project worth doing? And then there have been, but I think at this point in my life, thankfully, I'm a little more picky and I really want to do something with substance. So, and like I said, fortunately, I'm there, and I've done my indie films that I'm embarrassed about, but we're moving forward from that.
That's awesome.
Very
and
nice.
Speaking of substance too, do you have a favorite topic or episode from Grownish? Because obviously you cover some very real societal issues in the show. So is there any topic that kind of resonated with you or anything like that?
I'm trying to remember the show right now and what has aired and what hasn't aired. I think the writers do a good job at just touching on every topic so far. Mental health was one that I had talked to them about, and they did kind of touched on it. I think that aired, yes, because Jordan Woods was in it. Yeah, they kind of touched on it. I do hope it touches a little more. What I really like what they did though with me, especially with the relationship that I had with Aaron Jackson, it could have gone a whole other way when he broke my heart. It could have gone where she went crazy and, was sad and all of this stuff. And I really appreciate that they made her take the high road and see the value in herself, because I think a lot of women forget that and need to see that, because it's always hard to face rejection. And so if you can look at the situation with your head held high and just walk away and said, hey, it wasn't for me, and look at your friend and say, he's really in love with you, I think that's pretty powerful. So of all the topics, I think that one kind of resonated the most, just because, emotionally us women just go through that.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. Coincidentally, we had Jordan on last night. He had nothing but great things to say about you. Yeah, he was so funny. He was just the biggest funny guy. We were talking about him doing voiceovers. Have you done any voiceovering for anything?
I haven't. I really want to, but it's really hard. It's really hard. You have to over enunciate. And I had a huge accent before. So Spanish is actually my first language. I learned English when I was 6, thanks to Hooked on Phonics. A lot of you don't know what that is, but
I was alive for that.
I remember.
That taught me English. And when I first started in the industry, I remember on Secret Life, a lot of directors kept having to come up to me and say, you really have to enunciate. I can't understand you. My accent would start coming out. And so I've worked really hard to lose that, but it's still, when it comes to voiceover, it's there. And like, you can't even breathe when you talk because the mic picks it up. So I do want to, but it's not easy.
We got a guy coming on next week. You're welcome to come to that show. I think Jordan's coming to it because we were telling him about voiceover. His name is Chris Sabat. He is like a master of voice animation. He's done like over 300 voices. Like in his career, most famously his work with Dragon Ball Z. So that's like 25 years. So he'll be on next week. But that was just a question. But another question we had was like, and you talked about mental illness on the show. Was there any one that affected you personally? So like when we were talking to Jordan yesterday, he was saying that, the cultural appropriation one, because he was like learning as he was like learning in the show, he was like learning things about personally as well. Was there one that you had that you were like, yeah, like this touched me, like when you were moving forward?
I can't pinpoint anyone specifically, but if we're going to touch on cultural appropriation, just because it happened, like I'm half Mexican, half Hondureña. And I started laughing this past Cinco de Mayo, because every Cinco de Mayo, I have friends hitting me up, happy Cinco de Mayo, happy Cinco de Mayo, and the sombreros and the tacos and everything. And I'm like, talk about cultural appropriation. That's not what we do.
Yeah,
but I mean, we celebrate a certain way, but I think it's just funny. I didn't say anything. I just said thank you, but it's definitely an interesting topic because it's not talked about in the Hispanic community at all. So I'd love for it to be touched on our side of things, because there's definitely a lot of stereotypes and not all of us are the same. Like I'm half Mexican, half Hondureña, and my friend over here is from Ecuador. Like, we all have a different dialect. We have different foods. We have different traditions. We have different cultures. Like it's just different.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So we will take our next question from Emma. Go ahead, Emma.
Okay. I was wondering, is there like any books that you've really enjoyed that have not been made into a movie adaptation, but you would like to see turn into like a movie adaptation?
Yeah, there are Hispanic Marvel superheroes, and I would love for them to finally do a movie on them. White Tiger specifically. I have my eye on her, so I'm going to manifest it. We'll see what happens.
Ooh.
From your mouth to God's ear.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Did you say she's from Marvel?
Yeah.
Oh, I love Marvel.
Yeah, there are Hispanic superheroes in there. I think there's more than one, but I think she's, and here's the thing though, I think she's in the Spider-Man universe.
Yeah, she is. Yeah.
And they just separated from Spider-Man.
Yeah, it's an interesting. Well, they're in negotiations. There's still one more movie that's in there. We'll see.
What happens?
My mouth to Kevin Feige and Sony's ear. Stick together, man. Peace on earth.
Tom Holland will save the day.
Justin is one of the biggest Marvel fans I know. So
yeah, we didn't get anybody. For that, but hopefully soon.
So we have I don't want to mispronounce your name, Boy K. Please correct me.
Yeah, Boy K.
Yes. Okay, go ahead, ask your question.
Yeah. So hello. So my question is, as an actor who loves writing short films, what's the best approach in terms of getting exposure? Should one send, like when I'm done with my short film, should I send them to film festivals? Like what's the best approach?
I would have it filmed and do your best to submit it into a film festival. The best way to go about it is to film it. And I don't know the program specifically, but I know there are certain programs that are looking for new writers, new artists. And I know someone like me specifically, there are actors, especially these days, that, it's so important for there to be a diversity in the Directors Guild. There are actors that are looking into directing, myself in particular. So one of the advice that we have gotten, I just haven't done it yet, so maybe you can submit something, is to go into a college and ask for writers to submit their work, and with the opportunity to film a short film. So I would look into those those actors or directors that are looking into doing that, because I know that there are so many people, myself included, that are looking for new content to produce and direct. So, and I know Disney's pretty good about that, so I would look into Disney.
Disney.
Great advice. Joyce, go ahead. Joyce has another question.
Joyce is back.
Yeah.
I'm back. Yeah, I have another question. I just wanted to see, is there like a mantra or like a saying that kind of helps you get through rejection in the acting industry?
Ooh, gosh. It still hurts. It still hurts. But I think one thing that I definitely have learned is if the door closes, that means that it was meant for another one to open. So I'll give you an example, and it's hard to live by. There was a show that I was supposed to be on, and I ended up getting recast. Someone else ended up booking the part. No, I ended up booking it and shooting the pilot. And then when the show got picked up, they ended up going a different direction. I just was not the right look for it, which I had a feeling when I was filming, but it still hurt. Now, mind you, had that door not closed on me, I would not be on Grownish right now. And I am so grateful that I am on Grownish and not that show, because that show ended up filming their last season, my first season of Grownish. They're canceled now, but I still would not be on Grownish. So I think knowing that anytime an opportunity has passed by you, and if you look at your life and you look back, be like, wow, if I ended up doing that, I wouldn't have gotten this opportunity. I think it makes it easier in the future for rejection. Like if a door is closing, it's for a reason, but I'm a firm believer that what's meant for you will be for you, and no one can take that away.
That's a great mantra. Yeah, my mom says that to me all the time.
Yeah, but it's hard. It's hard, but you have to sometimes sit down and look at your life and be like, okay, what have I gotten that I didn't expect? And what did I want and didn't get? And where did my life go because I didn't get that? And once you start, writing those down and remembering them, then it gets easier to start believing that mantra.
Yeah, I like that.
Thank you. All right, Lexi Ashton, go ahead and ask your question.
I just want to know what filming Life Size 2 was like, and did you see the original movie? Because like that movie was like a big staple in my childhood for some reason. I just remember it. And so when the sequel came out, I was 20. So I just like wanted to know like what that was like, and if you like ever saw the original.
Oh my gosh, I was a huge fan of the original. So speaking of, being a little picky, so I have done so many sequels, and I was like, I'm done. I'm not doing any more sequels. I need to move on. And I was getting my nails done, and I have foil everywhere. And then my manager calls and says, Life Size 2. And I was like, what? They're doing another one? Are you serious? I thought they were going to ask me to audition. And I was like, or to play the doll or something like that. And they're like, no, they want you as the new lead. Like, are you interested? And I was like, yeah, I loved the first one. Like it was everything. So just like you. And so when I heard Tyra was in it, I was like, oops, I don't even need to read the script. Like, let's just do it. I don't care. So I got to work alongside Tyra Banks, and it was awesome. She is an incredible woman. I'm sure some of you are curious what she's like. And she's very much about girl power, like she preaches, and definitely took anyone under their wing that wanted advice. I got to spend more quality time with her than most because we had to have such a close relationship on set. And she definitely like guided me and advised me a lot. And I remember this one time I was like, I can't believe this is happening. She stopped me because I had good lighting. She goes, give me your camera. I'm going to take pictures of you. And she's telling me how to pose. I was like, how am I getting coached by Tyra Banks right now? What? And so it's posted on my Instagram. I'm like, I cannot believe this is happening. So it was a lot of fun. But I was in Atlanta, and gosh, they feed you a lot over there.
That's awesome. Oh,
yeah. Okay, so we got Emma again. Well, these are our last two, so we got two more questions. So go ahead, Emma.
Yeah, when you go to an audition for Freeform, which I know you have a few times since this is your second show on Freeform, what do you what have you been like expected to wear at those auditions?
You in any audition, not just Freeform, in any audition, they expect you to dress the role. But I'll tell you this, if you're auditioning for Bring It On, do not wear a cheerleading uniform. Wear what she would wear as a person, because it is not a costume party. And I can tell you now that it will be a huge turnoff if you show up to audition for Grey's Anatomy and you're dressed in scrubs. That automatically, before you even open your mouth, you're out, because it's not costume. That means that you didn't do the work, because under those scrubs, there's a person, there's a personality. So whatever feeds the personality is what you dress like.
So what would you wear to like a lawyer show?
You know what? Once you read the script, depending on what what the content is, like what a lawyer would wear. So if she's in court, whatever she would wear in court, but if she's hanging out at home, you're not going to be dressed in a skirt or slacks. You're going to wear leggings. So once you figure out a character's personality, which is a big part of acting, is not learning lines, it's their character and their personality, then it's easier to kind of choose what she would wear outside of what their job is.
Nice. And our last, Tasia, you're up.
I just, real quick, do you have any favorite films that speak to you the most?
Oh, favorite films. I can't think of a film right now because I've been watching The Last Dance too many times. Like I've seen it 3 times already, all 6 episodes that have aired. But in acting class, I still go to acting class, by the way. So if any of you are interested in acting, doesn't matter how successful you are, acting class. You're not gonna, trust a doctor to perform open heart surgery if he's not constantly studying every day, It's the same with this kind of craft. And I'll tell you, like some of the biggest actors in the world, like Will Smith, still has an acting coach. And I know that because he's my acting coach. So, wait, tell me the question again. I went off.
Do you have any favorite films that speak to you?
True Romance. True Romance is a really great film. I just did that in class recently. Great writing and also great acting. So if you want something that has a little bit of both, just to kind of see what's in the industry, that's a great film.
All righty, everybody. We are going to wrap this up. Francia was here with you all today. She dropped a lot of gems of knowledge for you. Thank you so much for being with us today. So what we've been doing towards the end of our broadcast is that we allow the speaker, our guest, to take us out. So you can give us your key to life, or what's that one thing you wanted the students to get that you were presenting today. It could be anything. Words to live by. Yep, you're going to take us out. No preparation, all right?
I feel like I did that already. I don't know. Okay, so a lot of you are in college. All right, just know this. Rejection is going to happen. It doesn't matter how successful you are. Rejection is going to happen. Some of the biggest stars in the world still get rejected. But just like I was talking to Joyce over here, rejection is, an open door for something else. So one other thing I'm going to tell you is whatever your dream is, I'm not saying don't stop pursuing it if it just feels like you're reaching a dead end. Just sometimes it might not look like the way you think it should look. Like maybe some of you want to be actors and think, oh, I'm going to be a big film star, but maybe you're meant to do theater, or maybe you're meant to be an acting coach. It might not always look the way that you you picture it, but if it's a dream in your heart, it's supposed to happen in some capacity. So don't give up on it.
Absolutely. As I'm sure you can see, everybody, thank you so much for coming on to the show. Real quick, everybody, before you leave, let's talk about the sessions that are still up. Today we have Marquet Richardson from Dear White People. He'll be with us in the next hour and a half.
Him.
Oh yeah.
On Dear White People.
If you want to, what you should do is we'll send you the Zoom, and you should just pop up and be like, "Oh yeah, surprise!"
That's so funny. He'll be like, "Who's that?" I was only like 3 episodes.
That's funny. And then next week we have Joshua Seth. He's done a lot. Oh well, here you go, Francia. He's done a lot of voice acting as well. Joshua Seth. Chris Handles, he's a Harlem Globetrotter. He's going to be doing some tricks and stuff with you all. Terry Lomax, she is nationally recognized for being a brand strategist. So she's going to show you how to increase your brand. Chris Sabat, like we were talking about him earlier today. Jamie Camille, obviously all of you know him from Jane.
Yeah.
Oh, I am so sorry. Hi, May.
Hi,
all
May.
right. Yeah, there you go. See, I'm still learning. Zach Gowen. He was in the WWF. He's got an amazing story. Danielle Fischel, you'll know her as Topanga from Boy Meets World. Al Roker doesn't need introduction. Joshua Triplett, he's done some work currently right now. He's on the show. Neighbors with Cedric the Entertainer on CBS. Sway in the Morning, MTV, you know him, and Cedric Yarbrough on Friday. So we hope you all sign up and we continue to see you then. So we will see you then.